Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the live stream. Okay. All right. So we're going to see if we can figure out how to do this. How about some Inception? Ah. Um, we're going to see if we can figure this out. So if you recall, last week we did some Lord of the Rings roulette. We want to do the same thing. Yeah. There we go. And we're just trying to figure out camera issues. I've got Drew with me in the studio. We're going to see how it goes. See if we can figure this out. So much like last week, we're going to be picking a random page out of the Lord of the Rings, and we will be discussing it. Question is how much we'll be able to finesse that. So I'm kind of thinking, yeah, this is why I'm a professional, right? This is the professional stream. Okay. So here, you hold on to that for a sec. Let me puzzle over this. It's just not gonna be great doing it that way. Let's go ahead and shut the AC off. We burn for your aural comfort, everybody. Okay. Hey guys, what's up? Red, how's it going? Okay. You know what? Maybe we'll just go blind. I've got my copy of the book, and we'll go blind. Drew, do you want to come sit up here, or do you want to do the mute unmute tactic?
I'll sit up there.
You're gonna sit up here? Okay, all right.
Do you need my computer?
Your gear? No. Nope. We'll figure it out. No, we'll figure it out. We're just gonna, you know what? We're just gonna do some of this, okay? And like, I'm gonna read it right alongside you guys. Let's see, how close can I get, and it will still, it'll still focus. You get pretty close. I just got to be careful. Okay, all right. So yeah, I think we can do it.
Okay. Which side do you want me to go on?
It doesn't matter. Right there's fine. Oh nope, sorry, I lied. This side.
All right.
Because the mic's we gotta be able to.
There we go.
Reach the mic. Go for it. Okay. Hi, Drew.
Hi, Craig.
Sorry, that was Linnea talking to you.
Oh.
Hi, Linnea.
Hi, Linnea.
So now we can both reach it. All right. So Lord of the Rings roulette. Here's how it goes. You guys give me a page number. I open to that page number. We discuss what's inside. Today, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't want to do a full hour stream, Drew. I don't want to do it. You know why?
Why?
Because my kid's birthday is on Sunday. I'm going to be out of town. I feel like a terrible father, and I really want to take him to the store to get him his present before I leave town. And I need to do that tonight. And I have limited amounts of time. So
yeah,
let's see.
That's fair.
Should we try to get weird personal stories out of them again? You and I don't really have any like weird personal stories yet, right? Like, remember the time we got so wasted that we watched StarCraft for 5 hours on a Sunday morning.
We've never done that. I don't know if we have any
I don't
weird
think so.
Personal stories.
So, okay.
Mutual weird personal stories.
Exactly. All right. So shout out some page numbers anywhere from page 1 to page 1008. That's
Linnea. Of course we do.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah, absolutely.
We have attended Jordan
Con. Do you
can everybody hear me at all?
Yeah. Okay. They'll be able to hear you. Yeah, you'll be a little fainter than I normally am, but Linnea wants $5.95. All right, $5.95. So for those of you unfamiliar with this copy, this is my favorite copy of the Lord of the Rings, because it's the one that I used when I was 18. I was a freshman in college. I went through the entire book and color-coded the dialogue. So the non-dialogue is blank, but anything that is dialogue, each character got its own color. Whoa. And at the time, it was just kind of a stupid little thing that I wanted to do. Turns out it's been extremely helpful if I'm like, there was that thing that Gimli said, and I think I know about where it's at in the book, and I can just flip to all the brown dialogue and really quickly skim through and see, yep, that's where it is, and get the direct quote. So stuff like that. It's turned out to be really helpful. Okay. Yeah, last week somebody wanted 666. But no, we're going with 595. Okay, so 595. It's not that I like Linnea more. It's just that, well,
She said it first.
there you go. Yeah, that's our justification. Okay. 595 is The Taming of Smeagol. Yeah, there's my camera. The Taming of Smeagol. 595. Let me see if I can find something interesting on this page. Oh, okay. So they have the rope. Their Taming of Smeagol is when they're going through the Emmen Wheel. What was it? An impossible labyrinth of razor sharp rock, or however he says it. Let's see.
Last week, someone wanted 420 and 69. Oh, dear. A very mature audience, erudite, if you will.
We pride ourselves. Okay, so here's a question for you.
Okay.
A pity I didn't think of bringing another length, says Frodo. A length of rope. Okay, so they've got some rope, but not enough. But I left the company in such a hurry and confusion. If only we had enough, we could use it to get down. How long is your rope, I wonder? Sam paid it out slowly, measuring it with his arms. First of all, paid it out. I want to look up the etymology of pay.
Good phrasing.
Yeah, I want to look that up. Measuring it with his arms. 5, 10, 20, 30 L's, more or less. Okay, so, oops. If we look up here, where are we at? Oh, come on. Focus. Focus. Oh, it's because it wants your face. That's why. Get your face out of here.
Not handsome enough.
Whatever. Who'd have thought? 30 L's, more or less. I know you guys can't read that. I'm sorry. Look, I tried to do the phone thing like I did last week, but the echo on it is so bad that I'm not sure it's worth that. But anyway, so now I'm wondering, ELLS, 30 L's. 30 L's, said Frodo, considering. I believe it would be enough if the storm passes before nightfall. Okay, so, Drew, that means we got some looking up to do.
We do.
Okay.
I know I've heard the term L's before, and I'm pretty sure not just in Lord of the Rings. I feel like this is something I've read in other fantasy.
I mean, somebody else read Tolkien and was like, "Oh, that's a unit of measurement." Sure,
likely, yeah.
Okay. So L, unit of measure, Old English eln, ELN. Originally forearm, length of the arm.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so an eln in Old English would be the length of your forearm.
That tracks.
Okay. I feel
Although
like
a Hobbit L was probably a tad shorter.
That's pretty great. Okay, and the other one I wanted to look at was paid or pay.
Yeah. Like to pay it out, to unspool.
Right, but it's so inextricable from money now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's see. Pay, verb. 1200, paien, to appease, pacify, satisfy, to be to the liking of.
Okay.
From the old French, pay or pay up. Oh, okay. Medieval Latin, satisfy a creditor, or it literally means make peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
To give what is due for goods or services arose in medieval Latin and was attested in English by the early 13th century. The sense to please or pacify died out in English by 1500. Figurative sense of suffer or endure a punishment was first recorded. Nah, that doesn't help us. To pay up, to pay out. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just, to give out. Interesting. I
feel like none of those definitions quite marry to it.
It doesn't quite work. I guess
so. This is an interesting thing Linnea mentions. Is elbow related to elm? And elbow. That is fascinating.
I wanted that one. Drew is pretty cute.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so elbow is related to N. Yeah, probably. That's a great thought. Okay, so elbow. Elbow, bend of the arm. Contraction of Old English Ellenboga.
Okay.
Elbow from Proto-Germanic Ellenobogen, literally bend of the forearm. Yes. Okay. So Ellenboga, the bend
Yeah.
of the forearm.
Okay.
Hey, hats off to you.
Yeah.
I love spotting stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love that. So, okay. Excellent. I need a new page. Oh, yeah, 756. Okay. I'm 100% calling my elbow that from now on. Ellenboga. You want me to spell it out for you? So you guys can see it? I'm going to lose my phone.
Yeah, you're here.
That's all right. Okay.
Those are slick pages. You know, it's a high quality book.
Did I get that right? Yeah. Okay. There you go. Ellenboga. You know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and edit that.
Ellenboga.
Okay, there you go. Ellenboga, the Old English term for elbow.
We are already descending into chaos.
And I'm pretty sure that G isn't pronounced that way. So that's probably why we have a W now. It's like Elboya or Bowa.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
So the G does not follow our rules now.
Linguistic shift.
You know, I took Old English in college for 2 semesters.
That's right.
I did for 2 semesters, and I retained so very, very little. You know, like there's that thing about like, oh yeah, I took Spanish in high school, but if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, you know, you're gonna come across some Spanish terms. You'll speak with native Spanish speakers every once in a while.
Yeah.
Old English, not that way.
Yeah, zero.
It's like if you're not a scholar, you're not using it, you're losing it.
Yeah, like I could attest to that, where like I minored in Spanish in college and promptly, you know, within, I don't know, 2-3 years, lost all my vocab. And then I went on one business trip to Madrid. And by the end of 8 days, I was borderline fluent again. And then I lost all of it again.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right. So we want 756. 756 is, the passing of the Gray Company. Okay.
Ooh.
An excellent setup chapter for the most part.
Yeah, this is early Return of the King. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Boy, it's been a long time since I've read Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so this is like when so 756 is actually the first page of that chapter. And we'll see what we can find out. Gandalf was gone. The thudding hoofs of Shadowfax were lost in the night when Merry came back to Aragorn. He had only a light bundle, for he had lost his pack at Parthgalen. Ooh, where's Parthgalen?
I do not remember.
Pop quiz. Merry lost his pack at Parthgalen, which was the like a Parth would be like
where
the green.
The orcs stopped. The Uruk-hai stopped.
It's where the Uruk-hai captured him and Pippin.
Oh, okay.
So the Falls of Rauros, the
you know,
the seat of
seeing. This conversation right here for anybody who might be watching is like talking about the Wheel of Time with Drew and Craig, but reversed.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. For myself, said Aragorn, it is dark before me. He's talking about the path ahead. It is dark before me. I must go down alone also to Minas Tirith, but I do not yet see the road. An hour long prepared approaches. And then, which I to be honest, this is one thing in Tolkien that has always bothered me a little bit, where Aragorn, especially, Gandalf does this a little bit, but Aragorn especially is so concerned with like fate and destiny and following his prescribed track, and he can't see what that is. I know I need to get to Minas Tirith, I just don't know how. And it's like, dude, there are roads, you have options. You can cut through the woods where Gonburigan lives. You could go around them. You can, follow the mountain paths, whatever. Yeah. Like, it has always confused me. He's like, yeah, war is on our doorstep. It's right here, and I know I need to get to Minas Tirith, but how? And it's like, the same way everybody else is about to go there.
Okay, I'm curious. Can I see the book?
Yeah.
So I was talking to you earlier today that I've been kind of working on this like theory of dialogue, where in my own writing over the last year I've been really focusing on dialogue, and just like seeing this and seeing what Aragorn is talking about. I'm curious if this follows through even in Tolkien, or if this is more of like a modern.
If what follows through?
My theory, and
Okay.
and so this theory is that good dialogue is about confrontation, defense, and deflection.
Okay.
That a good conversation that carries the story forward is always going to have at least two of these elements.
Okay.
And you were just talking about Aragorn like being so introspective and so like inward focused. That wouldn't fit with it, but I'm curious. Like I need to read like the whole page here.
But so before you do, my without having read this, so
Okay,
I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try to actually judge this dialogue. But remember that this is not a novel. This is an epic, right? He's not writing. He's not writing a novel, and so his thing would be like, of course they're not speaking realistically, or of course this isn't good dialogue according to the rules of writing or whatever.
But I'm not necessarily looking for realistic dialogue. I'm looking for effective dialogue. And I have a strong suspicion. I mean, I think of my favorite moments of dialogue in Lord of the Rings, and it very much follows this theory that I've been kind of building. And I wonder, like, I look at the page here, and of the dialogue, the vast majority of it is blue. And that makes sense.
Purple because you're blind.
Well, is that really purple?
That is really purple. That is blue.
That's like periwinkle. I don't know. Anyway.
Fun fact, Drew is blind.
No, I am actually not blind. I just had an eye exam on Tuesday and got a new prescription. I can see better than I have in years. Anyway, but no, I look at this and so much of this page is Aragorn, and I think about this theory, and it almost comes across like I'm reading this. It's introspective. It's introspective and combative. Where sorry, like I'm like looking at the page as I'm reading and talking at the same time. But like it's like I read the Merry section, and he says, "Don't leave me behind." This is an attack. This is like an aggressive, like, hey, like I want this. You're doing this other thing. Like, don't do that. And Aragorn deflects as he does it.
What?
He says, "Yes, and your road lies with him, I think, Merry. But do not look for mirth in the ending."
So what you're saying is Aragorn doesn't he shuts him down, but not directly, but by saying, here's what you're going to do instead.
Yes.
Okay.
So the way you construct this effective kind of dialogue is that like you don't just write normal seeming conversation. If you write a conversation that like you and I would have at the brewery, exactly, nothing's happening there. You're just talking. But for a story, you need dialogue to push it forward. And this, like, Aragorn has this like incredibly like intensely focused drive, and so even when he's focused on himself instead of somebody else's, when they converse with him, he's going to provide them conflict. Merry says, "Don't leave me behind," and he's like, well, I'm gonna leave you behind, but I'm gonna leave you behind in another way. And that opens up a new avenue for conflict for Merry.
And I wonder how legit that tactic is in real life. Like if you give somebody something else to wrestle with, if they'll let go of the first thing and get so confused that you can just like...
Yeah.
So, okay, let's see. Is there anything else? "Don't leave me behind," said Merry. "I have not been of much use yet, but I don't want to be laid aside like baggage to be called for when all is over." Well, okay, I don't think the writers will want to be bothered by me now. Though, of course, the king did say that I was to sit by him when he came to his house and tell him all about the Shire. Yes, and your road lies with him. Do not look for mirth at the ending. It will be long, I fear, ere Theoden sits at ease again in Meduseld. Many hopes will wither in this bitter spring. What good writing is that? Are you kidding me? Many hopes will wither in this bitter spring. Oh my gosh.
What irony.
So good.
Yeah.
The bitter spring.
Yeah. Withering, the imagery of plants withering in springtime when plants are blooming. Like,
Okay. I need another number. Give me another number. Something between 1 and 1008.
47.
47. Okay, Drew wants 47. Now I have to put. Drew said it, so now I gotta make a little thing for it. Okay, so Drew wants 47. Oh, that's gonna be.
Is it a forward?
No, okay, thank goodness. We are in the shadow of the past. I was worried that we were gonna be in about hobbits.
Oh.
Which, okay, look. The forward, or is that what we call it? Yeah, I think it's called a forward. Oh, here comes the 6-year-old to see Dad. What are you doing? Is she gonna open the door? She's not gonna open the door. Okay. Yeah, the prologue about hobbits. I'm somebody who loves the Lord of the Rings more than most people love most things, I would say. I don't know. And I can barely read front to back the prologue. I'm just like, all right, I'm out. Oh, it's
that's
so
me with
cool.
the Ainu Adala.
I know I love that. But yeah, everybody's got their own flavor, right? Okay, so we're doing Lord of the Rings Roulette, page 47, Shadow of the Past. And this is where Gandalf is revealing to Frodo what the ring is and kind of setting up the stakes of the story. This chapter is why chapter 2 in so many fantasy books is the setup for the conflict.
Exposition.
Yeah. Yep, you get. I mean, the Eye of the World works this way. Roughly, it may not be literally chapter 2, but you have your opening act or your opening scene with some levity, and you're getting to know your characters, and then something happens, right? To send them on their quest. Let's see. I could not take it away from him without doing greater harm, and I had no right to do so anyway. I could only watch and wait. I think he's talking about taking the ring away from Bilbo. If he'd tried to take it from Bilbo, it would have done more harm than good. I might perhaps have consulted Saruman the White, but something always held me back. Who is he? Asked Frodo. I have never heard of him before. Maybe not, answered Gandalf. Hobbits are, or were, no concern of his. Yet he is great among the wise. Interesting. That's we can get into some more.
Again, irony.
What's that?
Again, irony. I mean, if we're talking about the series as a whole, in the context, the series, the novel as a whole, in context, how in his desperation Saruman goes to the hobbits.
Oh yeah.
Despite at the start being, condescending.
I've always liked the etymology of the word wizard.
Oh yes,
wise. Wise, yeah, wise person, a wizard, right? And how like it's it's a bit like obviously without the extreme negative connotation and burnings necessarily, but the idea like in some villages in sometimes in the Middle Ages, right? If you were a learned woman, if you were too smart, if you knew too much, you're a witch.
Yep.
Right. And so it's like, oh, that guy knows a lot. He's a freaking wizard, Harry.
This is particularly funny given the most recent Brandon Sanderson secret project.
Oh, Frugal Wizard.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be ready to record on that next month.
I was supposed to record on that with 17 Shard last Sunday. And
oops.
I was not. I had too much going on, unfortunately. But
hey, Matthew says hello. Or sorry, he says ayo.
Yo.
Ayo. Yeah, I know how to say cool kid things. Let's see. Okay, so here's super is it I don't know if I'd call it Catholic so much as just generally Christian. At least as far as I know, maybe other faith traditions have this thing, but I know it's all over Christianity. And this is why when you say the Lord of the Rings has a lot of Christian overtones and undertones and just tones, people get really mad. They're like, no, Tolkien hated allegory, and it's like, yeah. And then you read passages like this, and it's like, it may not be allegory. That doesn't mean that it's not very Christian in its essence.
Allegory doesn't necessarily mean symbolism.
Right. So he says, he is the chief of my order and the head of the council. His knowledge is deep, but his pride has grown with it, and he takes ill any meddling. The lore of the elven rings, great and small, is his province. He has long studied it, seeking the lost secrets of their making. But when the rings were debated in the council, all that he would reveal to us of his ring lore told against my fears. So my doubts slept, but uneasily. So, and this passage is going to start hinting at it, but it goes throughout the book where Saruman is basically, if you court knowledge of darkness, you're overtaken by darkness. Be careful what you study, be careful what you learn. And this, I, I can see why this would be wise. Yeah. I can also see why it would be really foolish.
This whole passage is just dripping with irony. I didn't even remember this until you began reading it, but like he's talking about how it is his concern, the lore of the Elven Rings. Which among the Astari bears one of the Elven Rings? Not Saruman.
Oh man, that's a great point. Jeez. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, you know what?
Matthew. I'm very upset that Matt Michkov is in the Metropolitan Division. I'm sorry, I'm hijacking.
I immediately regret bringing Drew on. I do want to bring up one other thing from page 47. I waited, says Gandalf, until that night when he left this house. He said and did things then that filled me with a fear that no words of Saruman could allay. I knew at last that something dark and deadly was at work, and I have spent most of the years since then in finding out the truth of it. There wasn't any permanent harm done, was there? Asked Frodo anxiously. He would get all right in time, wouldn't he? Be able to rest in peace, I mean. I have been, ever since the first time I read the book, they kind of mention it in the movies, especially toward the very, very, very end. But really, it's kind of a theme throughout the books. The long-term damage that the ring does, and how much damage it does depending on your intent when you acquire the ring, how you acquire it, your intent, what you do with it, and how, like, eventually, much like Gloria Estefan's rhythm, it will get you. But you can slow or speed up that process based on your intent with the ring, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's, kind of similar with, it's of a piece with what we were just talking about. Saruman's like digging into devilish lore or whatever.
It may not be allegory, but it is symbolic of Catholic belief. The ring is sin. And so much of Catholic belief...
It certainly can be.
Yeah. Or represents the occasion for sin. Maybe that's a better description of it. It is about your relationship toward it, how you intend to use it, how you succumb to that temptation, and we see it act much faster. And coming from Tolkien's Catholic beliefs, this makes sense, where there are degrees in Catholic theology of sin, and how you approach sin will make an impact upon your soul. And so we have someone like Boromir, for instance,
right,
who sees rapid, fatal results, versus someone like Bilbo or
even
Frodo.
Just with proximity.
Exactly. Yeah. And because Boromir gives in to the temptation. He fully succumbs
Yeah.
in his downfall.
Yeah. The ring is many things, but sin is definitely among them.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah, that
The
is a good way
ring
to put
can
it,
be pretty much anything, really. I mean, anything. Do we even want to say anything negative? Certainly anything powerful. I think Tolkien was very wary of power. Full stop.
Oh, yes.
Just, like all power should rest with God. End of story.
Yeah.
Over and out. Yeah.
Yeah. Humanity should be very, very, very careful with the opportunities for abuse of power.
All right. Well, anyway, we've been going for about a half hour now. You guys, I'm going to call it quits there. Like I said, I'm going to go be a good dad, get my kid a birthday present. Yeah, we appreciate your participation in this week's Lord of the Rings roulette. Let me know if you enjoy this. Give me the feedback. Let me know in the comments. Hop on Discord. Let me know if you enjoy this. I enjoy it. It's a good way. Like it's cheap, easy fun for me to just open up the Lord of the Rings and do this sort of thing. So I hope you guys enjoy it too. And we're gonna go have fun storming the castle and finding a designated driver or something. So
yeah.
All right, we'll go storm all the castles. All right, everybody. I will see you all next week. Yeah, I think I will. I'll see you next week.